Hello students, this is our 7th session of chapter 4 data structure. In this session, we are going to study about sorting. So what is sorting? The arrangement of elements of the array in some order is called as sorting. The arrangement of elements of an array in some order is called as sorting. It may be ascending or descending order. So in sorting there are of different types, that is bubble sort, radix sort, insertion sort, shell sort. But in this chapter we are going to study only about insertion sort. So what is insertion sort? So in insertion sort, the first element is considered to be in the correct position, and the next position element is the key element, and we are going to compare it with the left of its key element, and we are going to interchange the values if it is lesser than or greater than the key element. Consider an array. A contains 4, 3, 2, 1 as its array elements. So using insertion sort, we are going to sort the array elements. So how to sort the array elements using insertion sort? So in insertion sort, as I told earlier, the first position is considered to be in the correct position. The first position element are considered to be in the correct position. So the comparison starts from the next element, that is the key element. So this is the key element. So we are going to start comparison from this position. So we are going to compare this element with the left side of the key element, that is A of 0 and A of 1 and A of 0. So now let's start comparison. So here we are checking whether 3 is less than 4 or not. So 3 is less than 4, hence what we have to do? We have to swap the elements, that is 3, 4, 2, 1. Okay. Next, in the next iteration, I gets increment. So here the value of I is 1. Why it is 1? As the comparison starts from the first position, the value of I is 1. In the next phase, I gets increment. So I becomes 2. I becomes 2. So what is the output of the first iteration? That is 3, 4, 2, 1. So comparison starts from A of 2. So we are comparing A of 2 with A of 1. We are comparing A of 2 and A of 1 here. As 2 is less than 4, we are going to swap the array elements. So that is 3, 2, 4, 1. So as we have to compare with its left side elements, so here also we are checking whether A of 1 is less than A of 0. So we are comparing the elements A of 1 and A of 0. So that is 2 is less than 3 or not. Condition is true. Hence we are going to swap these array elements. So what is the output? That is 2, 3, 4, 1. Zero, 1, 2, 3. So this is the output of the second iteration. In third iteration, the I get increment. So that is I becomes 3. So what is the output of the second iteration? That is 2, 3, 4, 1. So now the comparison starts from, that is I value is 3. So we are comparing these two positions, that is A of 3 and A of 2. So as 1 is less than 4, we are going to swap these array elements. So what is the output? That is 2, 3, 1, 4. Now we are comparing 1 with 3. That is, we are comparing A of 2 and A of 1. As 1 is less than 3, we are going to swap these array elements. So what is the output? The output is 2, 1, 3, 4. Next we are comparing A of 1 and A of 0. A of 1 and A of 0. That is, 1 is less than 2, hence we are swapping these two array elements. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the output of the last iteration. See here, the array elements get sorted. This is how we have to do sorting using insertion sort. So using insertion sort, first we have to consider the first position element in the correct position. So the comparison starts from the next position, that is the first position of the array. So we are comparing with its left side elements. So if it is lesser than or greater than the key element, then we are going to swap the array elements. So in the first iteration, we are comparing A of 1 and A of 0. As 3 is less than 4, we have swapped the array elements. So in second iteration, I gets increment. So we have compared A of 2 and A of 1. As 2 is lesser than 4, we swap the array elements, that is 3, 2, 4, 1. Again we have compared A of 1 and A of 2. As 2 is less than 3, the array elements got swapped. So the output is 2, 3, 4, 1. In the third iteration, I gets increment, that is I is equal to 3. So here we have compared A of 3 and A of 2. So as 1 is less than 4, the array elements get swapped. Next we have compared the elements, that is A of 2 and A of 1. As 1 is less than 3, the array elements get swapped, that is 2, 1, 3, 4. So in the next, as 1 is less than 2, the array elements get swapped. So this is the output of the, So now let's write an algorithm for this insertion sort. Algorithm for insertion sort. So what is the first step? The first step, the comparison starts from the first position, that is A of 1. So using for loop, we are going to compare the array elements from the first position till the last position of the array element. So for I is equal to 1 to n minus 1. So in the second step, j is equal to I. We are storing the value of I in the variable j. We are checking for the condition, that is while j greater than or is equal to 1, if a of j is less than a of j minus 1, what we have to do? We have to swap the array elements, that is temp. So we are taking this variable, temporary variable, to store the values. So temp is equal to a of j is equal to a of j minus 1. A of j minus 1 is equal to temp. End of if. J is equal to j minus 1. J gets decrement. End of while loop. End of for loop. Step 3, exit. Step 3, exit. So in the algorithm, A is the array with n unsorted elements. So A is an array with n unsorted elements. So the comparison starts from first position. First position till the last element of the array, we are going to compare the array elements, right? So for I is equal to 1 to n minus 1. So the comparison starts from first position. So what is the value of I? The value of I is 1. I am going to store the value of I in the variable called j. Next I am going to check while j is greater than is equal to 1 or not. As the value of j is 1, the condition is true. So next I am going to check the condition. If a of j is less than a of j minus 1. So we are comparing these two positions. If the condition is true, we are going to swap the array elements. So until the elements get sorted, this loop gets executed. So after the elements get sorted, so the condition satisfies, so the program gets terminated. So this is the algorithm for insertion sort. Now let's write a program for this. So what is the first step while writing the C++ program? The first step is we have to include the required header files. So what are the required header files? The first header file is #include iostream.h. So this header file provides the basic input-output services for the C++ program. It uses the objects like scene and cout to send to and from data to the standard input and output devices. And next header file is #include conio.h. So this header file contains the functions required in our C++ program. And next header file is #include iomanip.h. So this iomanip.h header file is used to manipulate the output on the output screen. So if I want to use setw function, then I have to use this header file. Now I am creating a class called sort. So inside the class, in the private section, so you have to write P in small letter. So I am going to declare the required variables for our program. That is array name, the size of an array. In the public section, I am going to declare the required functions. So what are the required functions? The required functions are get data, compute and display. So get data, the return type of the function is void, as this function does not return any value. Get data. Using this get data function, we are going to accept the required data from the user. Next is void compute. So this compute function, we are going to write the required calculations, and in the display function we are going to display the output. So I am going to close this class using semicolon. Next, I am defining this function outside the class. So what we have to do? First we have to write the return type followed by class name. What is the class name? The class name is sort followed by scope resolution operator, then the function name. What is the function name? Function name is get data function. So this function is referring to this class called sort. Yes. What are the required functions? What are the required informations we have to get from the user? That is, so what are the required information needed to be displayed on the screen is inserted in the insertion operator. That is, using the cout statement followed by this insertion operator. So enter the array size. Using cin statement, I am going to extract the data. So this is the extraction operator. So the size of the array is n. Enter the array elements. So why we are using endl here? Endl is used to enter the data in the next line after this statement. So using for loop we are going to accept the array elements I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Cin A of I. So this is about get data function. I am going to close this function. Next function is compute function. So we are defining the function outside the class. So first we have to mention the return type followed by class name, that is sort, then scope resolution operator, then the function name. What is the function name? The function name is compute. So here I am declaring the variables, that is int, temp and j. For comparison starts from first position. So for I is equal to 1, I less than n, I plus plus. So I am going to declare value of I to the variable called j. I am checking for the condition while j is greater than is equal to 1 or not. If the condition is true, I am going to compare the array elements, that is if a of j is less than a of j minus 1. So if the condition is true, we are going to swap the array elements, that is temp is equal to a of j is equal to a of j minus 1, a of j minus 1 is equal to temp. So close this condition. J is equal to j minus 1. Close this function. Next we are going to display the array elements after sorting. So for that we have to use this display function. So as we are defining the function outside the class, first we have to write the return type followed by class name followed by scope resolution operator, then the function name. So we have to print the array elements after sorting. So after sorting, the array elements are using for loop, we are going to print all the array elements. For I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Cout set w of, so set w function is used to set the field width between the array elements of I. So this is about this function. Next we have to create object for this class. So what is the, so in the main function we are going to create objects for this class called sort. So how to create an object? First we have to write the class name followed by object name. The object name is yes. Clear screen. Why we are using clear screen? function, clear screen function is to clear the already generated, that is the previous generated output on the console screen. Next, using this object, I am going to call these functions, that is s dot get data function, s dot compute function, then s dot display function. Display function gets ch closes main function. So why we are using get ch function? It is usually used to hold the output screen until the user presses any key on the keyboard. So now let's write the output for this program. So what will be the output? First it calls the get data function, right? So in the get data function we have accepted the array size as well as the array elements. So enter the array size. So what is the array size? The array size is 4. Next, enter the array elements. So enter the array elements now. That is 4, 3, 2 and 1. Next it will call the compute function. So in the compute function it will perform the comparison operation. After performing the comparison operation we are going to display the array elements using the display function, that is here we have called the display function. So in the display function we are going to display the array elements after sorting. So after sorting the array elements are. So after performing comparison, so what is the output? The output is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the output for insertion sort. Thank you.